Welcome back, OKPreps Round Up here on your home for sports, the sports animal, as well as online, okpreps.tv/roundup. Below the video player online, you can vote for our Your Take poll of the week. We want to know, where do you want the Class 6A and 5A basketball state tournament held? Do you want it at the ORU's Maybe Center and remain there? Do you want to see it move to the TU's Reynolds Center, the BOK Center? How about Oklahoma City with Chesapeake Arena, the Cox Business Center, or down in Norman at OU's Lloyd Noble Center? Ben Johnson and I will discuss this in our last segment, but we want to hear from you, so you can go to okpreps.tv/your take or okpreps.tv/roundup. It's right below the video player. Joining us now on the program, we appreciate him joining us this Saturday morning. Now we got to call him former Victory Christian head coach Brent Marley. News broke starting on Thursday, but really came to a head yesterday with Brent Marley resigning as head coach at Victory Christian. And Coach, first off, thank you for taking some time this morning to join us on the program. Always enjoy talking with you. And I'm going to start off with a simple question, but I'm sure it's not a simple answer. Why?
Well, yeah, Michael, we've, my wife and I are people of faith, and, these decisions are never easy. A turning point in your life, but we've prayed about it for a while, since the end of the year, and just felt the peace and felt it was, sometimes you just kind of sense when you feel like that maybe the wells run dry, or it's time to take a different direction. I've been so blessed, by my time there. 12 years is a long time for any coach to be at any program. So, not being anywhere else, not, kind of venturing out, I think that the things that I would like to do in my career down the road, it's just that time. It's that time to do that. And it wasn't easy. Mm-hmm. But we both have a great peace about it, and once the decision was made, we felt like there was just no questioning that it was the right thing, and some things have come up since then just to confirm, that we're moving in the right direction.
Well, you mentioned it, how it felt almost as if the well dried up. Maybe you weren't supposed to be there any longer. Let me ask you this, because you're definitely not leaving the cupboard bare at Victory Christian. There's a lot of talent still left on this team. And so from just a competitor standpoint, as far as winning a lot of football games with this group, of course, Keats Calhoun, John Michael Terry, Adesha Khan, just talent galore for this upcoming team. How difficult was it to leave this group from the competition standpoint, where you're going to be one of the top teams in Class 3A this year?
Well, that was tough, but even more so, those names you mentioned, behind that are relationships, and beyond the X's and O's and the stats and all those things, the wins and losses and stuff like that, the relationships, player to coach, coach to player, just that's the tough thing. I've always heard, it's better to leave a program better than you found it, and you're called to do something else when you can take something like it is right now, and it's in great shape. Facilities have been enhanced, some great talent coming back. Like you said, those two guys you mentioned, the first 2016 in-state OU commit, and then, Keats, all he's done. That's not easy. And that was, that weighed on my decision a little bit. Why now? But when you can push through that and you still know that it's time through that, you know that it's the right thing. But meeting with those guys and just some one-on-one meetings with those two in particular and several other kids, one-on-one, after I met with the team on Wednesday afternoon, that wasn't easy, and that was the really tough thing, and it'd be great to come back and see what they're going to do and be there, and have Keats hopefully break the record, John Michael Terry, go to OU or see what other interest he draws and what happens with him, and I would love to do that, but for my family and for myself and for what we felt called to do in the leading, I've got to put priorities where priorities are, and family comes in front of those things.
Hey, Brent, it's Ben Johnson. Thanks for joining us. I had a lot of fun talking to you at times throughout this year. And then being out there at that Rogers game, 69-38, I think by the time that I talked to you afterwards, I think you were worn out. I was worn out from keeping up with all the stats in that game. And then L'Aquarius Taft at Rogers just making some unbelievable plays, and you guys answering right back. That's a lot of fun. But that's neither here nor there. For you, I know you talked about the Sequoia game being one of your more memorable games. What's one of the games that you look back and wished you could do over again?
Boy, that's a tough question. I'll tell you what's a blessing is to build in the last 3 years. I can name off the top of my head the 5 that we've lost.
Right.
Because it hasn't been a whole lot. So that's a blessing in itself. That every one of those games that we lost is just probably I would say out of the 5. Maybe the Berry Hill game this last year in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
We played very well. I think Keith was like 24 of 32 for 415 yards and 5 touchdowns, and to come away with a loss with a performance like that. And we had a couple key turnovers, but that would have launched us into playing Locust Grove at Locust Grove, and Coach Hennessy and I are good friends, and it just would have been a neat matchup for Mason Fine and Keith to go in that duel and see what happened. But, I think probably that one, but they all, the 4 losses, the other 4 are just important. But anyway, I think hopefully that answers that.
No, it definitely does, and it was the perfect segue because the next thing I wanted to ask you was about Keith Calhoun and Mason Fine chasing the passing yards record. It almost feels like, and we're going to talk about it more as we get closer to the football season and as we're in the season, it'll probably kind of have a feeling of the 98 baseball year with McGuire and Sosa chasing after the single-season home run record. As both of these guys, first, Keith will probably end up breaking it, but Mason is going to be right behind him. You and I had a conversation in your office about last month about how you might see Keats break it, and then the next week or a couple weeks later, Mason will end up breaking Keats's record. Watching these two go back and forth all year after that career record, obviously you want to focus on team first, but at the same time, for those who love stats and those who love records being broken, it's definitely going to be fun to watch with these two special quarterbacks.
Oh, it will be. I mean, it's like we discussed. We said that I'm going to be biased to my guy, although I've been around Mason Fine some at some different award banquets, and I mean, you talk about top notch, first class young man, and so I wish both of them the absolute best. But Keats, the thing with him, we don't know, who takes over at Victory, what kind of offense. We've been, spread, no huddle, and he's had 3 starting receivers last year all graduated. So we've got 1 coming back, and that's John Michael Terry. The new coach may want to use him more at tight end or more on defense and not play as much offense, or you don't know. So I don't know if Keats will have the opportunity to run the same system. I think it's definitely not broke, so I hopefully they don't do a whole lot of fixing, but that's going to take time to see what happens with that. And then Mason Fine's got, I think, a plethora of his receivers coming back.
Yep.
And of course their coaches are all intact, same system. So I think Keats as well, sitting 500-600 yards ahead of him. It is going to be interesting. They might wind up both breaking about the same time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if Mason doesn't pass him up. But taking nothing away from Keats if that happens.
It's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure. Well, finally, we'll get you out of here on this, Coach. What's next for Brent Marley? Have you thought about it, going out of state, staying in state, inquiring about some job openings, or could you possibly end up taking the 2015 season off?
No, I'm definitely believing that I will be at a program working with young men. This is a calling to me, and molding young men is my calling. It's not a job. So I definitely believe God's going to open the right door. There's a few things kind of brewing, assistant opportunities and a couple head coaching things I'm looking at. Some are out of state. So it just really depends on the right fit, the right place, and I know that he will, he'll lead me and guide me to that place. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's one of those things. I'm just open to, I told somebody yesterday, if I'd been offered the head job, if anything big 6A school around here or even out of state was open, and all the stars aligned, so to speak, and it's more pay and all that, and I announced to the team and made this announcement and was going to that doesn't take any faith. I mean, that's just that's pretty simple sometimes with those decisions, but not exactly knowing, but knowing you're supposed to do this, it was a step of faith, and I just felt like I was supposed to do that, and I really believe that the right opportunity is going to open up because of that decision.
Well, Coach, as always, I love talking to you. I wish you the best of luck. If you decide to go that out-of-state path, please stay in touch because we definitely will miss you. And if you do stay in state, we'll definitely catch up again here on this Saturday morning program. But I've always enjoyed talking to you. Congratulations on your decision, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Hey, Michael, thank you, and all the things that we've done and the time we've had together. I appreciate that too, and I believe there'll be more ahead. So thank you.
Absolutely. That is former Victory Christian head coach Brent Marley joining the program. We definitely wish him the best of luck. And look, I've always been a guy, even with recruits, I love when the recruits stay in state because I love Oklahoma kids staying in Oklahoma. I feel the exact same about our coaches because I feel like we have some of the best coaches in this part of the country, and Brent Marley is one of them. And we definitely, from the selfish standpoint, want to see him stay within the borders of Oklahoma. But if he goes out of state, I know you feel the same way as me, Ben.
No doubt.
Wish him nothing but the best.
Yep. A lot of those coaches you love dealing with on a regular basis, and Brent is one of those.
Brent is absolutely. I knew he would want to come on, and he wouldn't have a problem with talking with us this morning, and we definitely do wish him nothing but the best. Hour number one is in the books. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the 2016 prospects in football with a guy who knows a little bit about it, Josh McCuistion of the Rivals Network, as well as Soonerscoop.com. Does a lot of recruiting updates on our Oklahoma kids, has seen them in camps and things this offseason. We'll talk a lot about some of these recruits, as well as Mason Fine and Keats Calhoun. When we come back on the other side of this timeout, he's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. This is the OKPreps Round Up on your home for sports and sports animal and online on the OKPreps Network.